Hello everybody, it's Christine. It is time for my last March Color Rush Studio design team layout. Although, never say never, I might still figure out how to do another one. We'll see. The picture I have is, it's one of those, I've actually had on my phone for a little bit. I had taken my daughter's picture and used one of those apps that does like the painting thingies. And I think it just looks kind of cool and pretty. And so what I want to do, I mentioned before, let me find it, y'all. Here it is. I cut the center of this out for I think maybe my second layout. And I mentioned during that video, I was probably going to fussy cut this wreath. And so I am going to fussy cut this wreath. So I'm going to fussy cut this wreath out of this paper here. I think I'm going to end up putting it on this paper. Okay. And then I have this paper here with all these butterflies, you guys. I'm thinking I'm going to maybe cut all those butterflies out. I also still have these little journaling pieces here, so I have no idea yet exactly how I'm going to do this. I do still have this piece here, but this may end up being like photo mat papers. I have little scraps here, but I don't know if I'm going to use that at the moment. I still have this blue one too, you guys. It's the back side of this one. I might actually, you know what I may do? Is go ahead and I may just double mat that so I can use the papers. You know what I mean? Like this, frame that out. I'm going to cut this first and then kind of see how this looks. I should always flip this because it's a little hard to kind of, because I think that looks pretty. I'm going to have to cut these out. And then if I have these butterflies, I'll just kind of somehow use them around the wreath. And then my photo, I don't know. I usually end up putting my photos with wreaths down here, but I'm kind of wanting to do something different. So maybe it goes up here. And then I can use, I still have, like I said, the chipboard and things. So maybe Bloom is the title on this one. Don't know. All right, let me do this. Let me go ahead and cut my wreath out because that's going to take me a minute. I also still have these. I may end up taking this little birdhouse because that is too cute. I like that birdhouse. And actually, I like this bird's nest. I may go and cut those two pieces out as well because I like them. So let me do that, and I'll be back on in a minute. Okay, everybody. I'm not going to say the words quick check-in because it took me quite a little while to do all my fussy cutting. I have fussy cut that wreath out from the one paper, and then I sat and fussy cut all the butterflies, all the full butterflies, I should say. I still had, there was blue ones kind of along the edges of the paper. I didn't cut those because the wings were cut off. And normally, I mean, I could take something with a flat edge, no problem, put on the edges. But I kind of want to put my little butterflies. I just laid them all down on here. They're not really like particularly organized per se. I just laid them just to see how many. And so I have this many. And then I've got my little birdhouse and my little bird's nest that I had cut out of those journaling cards. These guys here. I don't really see anything else other than possibly that, but I don't really want to use that. So those are just nice little journaling spots though. So I'm going to hang on to those. And then that actually doesn't leave me other than this. I'm going to have to come in here and mat my photo. And I'm kind of debating on either matting it with like a couple of layers of this, but I'll scuff it and stuff like that. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And then I also still have this little house here. So he may come in, that's a house. And maybe, I don't know, I may come in here. It's a little bit dark, but I can come in and I'm kind of imagining, you know, maybe my title or something goes down here with it. Or maybe I'll even use all these words and put them around. I don't know. I have to think on this piece yet still. And this little bunny is adorable too. So I don't know, you guys. I got to think on this piece. Probably after I started organizing these. And this is going to take me a minute too. So most likely what I'm going to do here, because y'all don't want to sit and watch me glue butterflies. I'll probably do, I need to cut this down. I got to cut my border strip off of each of these two pieces. I need to trim this down. I'm going to glue my wreath down. And I think I'm going to let it lap to the edge too. I'm going to let it bleed off the edge of my yellow. And then I'll start gluing my butterflies down and I'll come back on right before, you know, when I have still a couple left to go because I know I'm going to use foam pieces under the wings because I want it to look like it's fluttering. So I want them to look like they're fluttering because I'm imagining I'm also maybe going to pull out. So, oh, I forgot to say, I got these and there's little bees in here and I'm thinking I'm going to also add little bees. Just as it's almost like it's this abundant flower garden type thing, if that makes sense. And you know, when you got tons of flowers, you also usually have tons of little insect wildlife. And so I'm going to definitely kind of curl these guys up, use some foam tape underneath them. And I'll pull out, like I said, there's these little bees and stuff in here. And I want to, I don't know if I'll use these florals or not. Those may have to go in like my floral, but then maybe I will because I have the wreath. I need to kind of, I really want the butterflies to be kind of the main. I still have extra butterflies too, but I don't know if I'll use those or not. Y'all, I have to still make some decisions, I guess is the point. But I do have the little bees. See the little bees? And, oops, you're a little extra. So I think, you know, I could even take my little bees. Did I hit my head on the phone, y'all? Because I'm standing. I do that sometimes. And I may add these as well. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this down real quick. I'm going to kind of get my wreath. And I'm probably going to leave the edges of the wreath. I may actually come along here and also, like, lift those and stuff. So I'm going to glue that down. I'm not going to make you sit and watch me glue all the butterflies, but I'm just telling you what I'm going to do off camera because you don't need to sit there. So let me do that, and then I'll come back on. I'm going to also map my photo. I'll come back on when I'm kind of finalizing the last of the little butterfly pieces, and then we'll start putting all the little bits and pieces in too. All right? I'll be back in a minute. Oh my gosh, you guys. I just rambled and rambled, didn't I? But I was trying to give you my ideas and my thoughts, and y'all kind of see how my brain works on the inside. So what I've done is I have taken my photo. I don't know that I have ever done this, and I have double matted it, but I used the same paper 2 times. So I took that little creamy colored, and I matted it 1 time, scuffed up the edges, and then I made a bigger one and scuffed it again. So it's this kind of subtle double layer. It's there, but it's basically defined by texture versus color. And then I have glued down my wreath, and now I have glued down my butterflies. I actually did not use foam tape behind the wings because I went through off camera before I turned it back on again and finger curled all the butterfly wings. And I even kind of, I curled them up. So, I mean, they're not foam tape underneath them, but there's still a bunch of lift. It'll go in the book and probably squish a little bit. And I think that's okay for the moment, but I just love how, I'm not going to lie, you guys, this turned out really pretty. There was so many butterflies on that paper, and it just looks, I like the word abundant. I just really wanted it to feel that way. So I've glued all those little butterflies down, and I've glued down, I don't think I've glued down the house and the bird nest and stuff yet. I think I'll do that in just a moment. But I've got the little bees, and I'm kind of organizing those. And I'm just taking those and sticking them throughout. And then I decided I wasn't going to use all 3 of the words. I decided Bloom was a good title. And because of the nature of the little leatherette house at the bottom, I decided not to put it down there. I went ahead and put it up over the top of the picture. And I think that's a good spot anyway. It just seems to kind of point at the picture a little bit, or it just brings your eye to the picture. Then I got off of my chipboard pieces here, and I thought, okay, I've got 3 little butterflies, and I'm going to put those kind of in the middle little cluster of butterflies. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, this is kind of near the photo, so it kind of adds a little bit of oomph around the photo. The other thing I did do, Shannon had inspired me because she had those acrylic markers and colored her little leatherette pieces. Well, I got in my drawer, I had like a red and I had this kind of royal blue. The royal blue was completely wrong, but I thought the red little paint on the little heart on the little house there was kind of cute. There's technically not really red in the layout anywhere, but a heart can always be red if you want it to be. So I went ahead and colored that little heart red. That's the only one I did. I tried a little yellow highlight marker, or a little yellow marker on the center of the flowers, but it was so faint I didn't really spend any more time coloring because I had no other markers that would really work. So that's what I did. Here is where I have decided. Now what made me do this is I couldn't tell you. It was not in my original plan. That fabric, the little frazzle was laying there, and there's ones with little bees on it, and I thought, I'm going to tuck this up underneath here. And so I just started messing with it. I think it was laying there or something, and I thought, hey, that's got a neat little texture to it. And so I'm going to take a little Nuvo glue. I'm going to cut basically, I do not measure it, you guys, but it's probably an inch and a half, something like that. Just cut me a little baby bits of these little frazzles, and I'm going to kind of tuck it in under kind of the butterflies and leaves and stuff in a couple of spots. I'm going to do it in the lower left corner, the lower right corner. I'm going to tuck one underneath the little leatherette house, and one in the upper left or it's kind of in the leftish. So it kind of makes like a little visual triangle with my fabrics. It's not like in your face though, because it is a real neutral fabric. And the little bees are kind of neutral and stuff. It's not like it shouts at you. You don't see this ginormous, piece of fabric, but I thought it was a really pretty little texture. So I just kind of wad it, y'all. There's no scientific method behind it. I just take a little Nuvo glue and I kind of wad my little frazzle and I pick it up underneath there, and it takes me a minute because trying to get it to wad properly in a way, like I didn't want like a flat edge if I could help it, I guess. So maybe there was a bit of a scientific method behind it, but I'm trying to tuck it up in there where I don't have like a flat edge necessarily. And like I said, I'll do that underneath that corner there. And then I'm going to do it up again. Have I already done? I'm sorry, I can't tell. I might have already done under the top of the little birdhouse there. This takes me just a second. And then I think I actually kind of debate on the last piece. I kind of decide upper left, over by the bird. I thought about almost by the birdhouse, but I had a gap in my mind up there in the upper left between that pink and yellow butterfly. So I think I start over on the birdhouse. I start there, and I think, well, I don't know if I like it there. Look at me. I'm kind of trying to wad it, y'all. Just trying to wad it properly. And then I thought, well, maybe by the birdhouse. It doesn't stay by the birdhouse, though. I decided to move it. I'm going to wad it in the top because I looked again and I thought, no, I just have too big a gap up there. That it would have been fine if I hadn't filled it. But I thought if I'm going to do something with a piece of little frazzle, I'm going to stick it up in there. So I'm just going to kind of wad it and tuck it. And I think that looks kind of pretty, if I'm honest. It's not really in your face, but it adds a little texture. I contemplated adding sequins. I contemplated adding enamel dots. I honestly probably could have and been just fine, but I didn't really have the right color sequins anywhere. So I ultimately decided just to pull out a little white paint. And so I'm going to run over and get my Mr. Huey's, my opaque white. I managed not to get it all over my fingers this time. So that was a win, y'all. That was a win. But it does take me just a second. I'm just going to kind of sprinkle around kind of mostly the middle sets of butterflies. And then I'll kind of come around the bird nest and kind of around the bird house on the left. Just honestly a little bit kind of everywhere, if I'm 100% honest with you. I just kind of go all over the place. But I like the little subtle, white paint in here. And then that's basically all I'm going to do, y'all. I think this turned out really pretty. I just love all the lifted wings. I think there was just such, like I said, an abundant set of butterflies. It worked so perfectly. And I thought the wreath was really pretty. So I'm really happy with this, you guys. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you check out the description below. I do put a couple of links to the Color Rush Studio website, Facebook group, Instagram. There's a little code. So if you make a first order, Christine10, you get 10% off. This is a monthly subscription. So I think I usually do these on Saturdays. I'm not sure exactly when, but don't forget to try to get signed up for the first of the month so you get the April kit. And we will see you next time. Bye.